morning, Dundalk Middle School. This is Kara.
And Ephraim.
Bringing you your morning announcements.
On WDMS News.
Today is Thursday, March 2nd, 2017, 8A. Today in History. Today in History, in 1904, Dr. Seuss was born. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the DMS Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I am safe, I am respectful, and I am responsible at Dundalk Middle School and in my community. Please be seated.
Let's go to the newsroom to check on the weather and sports.
It will be cloudy today and very windy this morning. Our high today should be 49 degrees. Here's what the remainder of the week. Now for sports report. The Orioles have played 6 preseason games so far. They have won 3 and lost 3. Adam Jones has already hit 2 home runs this year. Here's what is happening around the world.
I'm Zach Troy. Here's this week's Global Wrap. We may have neighbors in outer space. That was the word from NASA and European Southern Observatory scientists on Wednesday. They said their telescopes, on Earth and in space, identified 7 planets orbiting the dwarf star known as TRAPPIST-1. The star is relatively nearby in space terms, only 39 light-years, 229 trillion miles, from Earth. The planets are roughly Earth-sized. They are located close enough to their star to potentially have the liquid water and atmosphere necessary for life.
The President of the United States.
On Tuesday night, President Donald Trump delivered a major speech to a joint session of Congress. The speech was an opportunity for the president to lay out his agenda to the nation.
My job is not to represent the world. My job is to represent the United States of America.
The president emphasized his campaign promise to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare.
Tonight I am also calling on this Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare. The way to make health insurance available to everyone is to lower the cost of health insurance, and that is what we are going to do.
The official Democratic Party response was made by former Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear. He responded to the president's health care plans.
You and your Republican allies in Congress seem determined to rip affordable health insurance away from millions of Americans who most need it.
Last week, top officials from the Trump administration spoke at a major conservative political conference. The president's chief strategist, Steve Bannon, took an aggressive stance when he talked about the Washington establishment.
If you think they're going to give you your country back without a fight, you are sadly mistaken. Every day it is going to be a fight.
United, we stand. Divided, we won.
Demonstrators marched on Sunday through Olathe, Kansas. Last Wednesday, 2 computer engineers, immigrants from India, were shot at a local bar while relaxing after work. Srinivas Kuchnibuthala was killed. His companion, Alok Madasani, was wounded.
It was rage and, malice in an individual's heart that killed my friend.
The alleged shooter, Adam Purinton, was arrested on Friday. The shooting is being investigated as a hate crime. The unprovoked attack was front-page news throughout India. In Philadelphia on Saturday night, vandals desecrated a Jewish cemetery. Over 500 headstones were toppled. Last week, a Jewish cemetery in St. Louis was also vandalized. And on Monday, bomb threats emptied Jewish community centers in 13 states. This was the 5th wave of anti-Semitic threats targeting Jewish community centers this year. In North Dakota, the almost year-long protest to stop construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline through the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation is over. Last Wednesday, Native Americans and their supporters burned their shelters and abandoned their base camp. On Thursday, state officials moved in to clear the camp. A federal court ordered demonstrators to end the protest. The Standing Rock Sioux argued that the pipeline threatened the reservation's water resources and its cultural heritage. The weather map tells all. It was hot in February. Historically warm air poured into the eastern two-thirds of the nation. There were 2,805 record hot temperatures set in February, but only 27 record February lows. I'm Zach Troy. Check in next week for the latest global wrap.
The DMS yearbook staff are looking for your selfies, baby pictures, and personal quotes for this year's yearbook. They may be given to Miss Bullock in room 106 or submitted at dundalkyearbook@gmail.com. All submissions are due by March 17th. You can still order a yearbook. Forms can be found in room 106 or in the main office. You can also order online at ybpay.lifetouch.com. Use 106-8117 as your code. All orders must be placed by April 3rd.
The PBIS Hoot Cart will be open every Wednesday during the lunch shift. Bring your hoots to dream them for cool Hoot merchandise. The Hoot Cart will open 7 minutes into lunch and close within the last 7 minutes of lunch.
Attention students, stop by our library to check out this year's Black Eyed Susan nominated books. If you read 3 or more of them by the end of March, you will be invited to a pizza party in the library.
Sweet Frog on Wise Avenue is having another fundraiser for DMS on March 6th from 1 until 9 p.m. Take a flyer from school, then turn it in as you place your order. DMS will receive 20% of your order for student activities.
Today's drama club rehearsal is only for the main characters and anyone auditioning for a music solo.
Track and field begins March 14th. If you are interested, pick up the required forms from Mr. Monaco in room 302. All the completed forms will need to be turned into Mr. Monaco or Miss Davis prior to March 14th. All Mod 3 gym classes need to report to the library today for class. Words of wisdom. Good morning, Dundalk Middle School. This is Kara with a few words of wisdom. Did you know that Claude Monet, the famous French painter, painted the same haystack 32 times? Each time with a different degree of light. Each time from a different angle. Obviously, Monet's haystack looked very different at dusk than at high noon. The same thing is true about the troubles we face in life. From one angle, things may seem hopeless, from another, hopeful. In one light, a problem may seem huge, and in another light, very small. The French say, what is true by lamp's light is not always true by sunlight. Next time you find yourself feeling overcome by a problem, talk to someone you respect and trust. Try looking at the problem from as many angles as possible, like Monet and his haystack. You'll probably discover that your problem looks very different depending on how you choose to look at it. With something to think about, this is Kara. Make it a great day, not the choice is yours. Here's Mr. Barish.
Morning, Team DMS. I want to make sure everyone is focusing on learning in a positive and safe environment. It starts with bringing your A game each and every day. Remember, we only have a couple more weeks after this week for the third quarter, so it's important, again, to come to school, demonstrate excellent attendance. You can earn incentives for your attendance, as you've been doing. Also, coming to school and applying yourself, and coming to school with a positive attitude. As part of Team DMS, we'll do whatever it takes to educate and inspire you to become a globally competitive graduate. Let's make excellent decisions today. Now back to Ephraim and Kara.
This is Ephraim.
And Kara, reminding you to
have a thoroughly fun Thursday.